And this afternoon, Joy News is learning that Ghana's external debt exchange program appears to be hanging in the balance, given the fact that Ghana's external creditors are worried about China's reluctance to sign on to the debt restructuring program for the country. A group of countries known as the Paris Club are amongst the key donors to the Republic of Ghana. However, the ability to sign on to a debt relief program for the country to seek an IMF bailout is continuing to drag simply because the People's Republic of China is yet to join the creditor committee that will set in motion the external debt restructuring program that will allow Ghana to get some 3 billion bailout from the International Monetary Fund. French Foreign Affairs Minister Christophe Zakharipolu has been on a state visit to Ghana, engaging President Akufo-Addo on some of these matters. She held a press conference indicating that China appears to be the key concern for many countries.
The economic situation of Ghana worries all of us, and the question of debt. It is treated by Club of Paris, but not only, also from the framework. So the 22 members of the Paris Club discuss how we can help, how we can support the government of your country. And in this case, of course, we have to make the restructuration of debt, external debt, and I think the discussion with China and the role of China, it would be very, very important. So that's why I spoke to you about the importance of the common framework. But of course, we totally support and we will be beside you for the action that will have to be undertaken by the IMF and also the World Bank, because the country needs to regain the economic stability.
And that's the position of the French government, indicating what's likely to happen to Ghana's external debt restructuring. Meanwhile, internally, business community is raising concerns about the new revenue measures passed by government to raise some revenue for the country. The government equally explains that the move will help the country secure that much-needed austerity plan with the International Monetary Fund. But, of course, the business community holding a press conference earlier today indicated that many companies will begin to fold up. In fact, the GUTA, which is the Ghana Union of Traders Association, has been holding joint talks with other business groups. And here's the president of GUTA, Joseph Obeng, addressing the press that the IMF's conditionalities may lead to many businesses folding up.
That there has not been any effort on the part of the government to engage the business community and seek their input. There has never been any effort to engage with us. These businesses are already overburdened with numerous taxes. Therefore, the implementation of these new taxes will lead to the collapse of businesses in the country. That, again, the taxes will have rippling and cascading effects on businesses and the consuming public as well. The government could have adopted a different strategy for enhancing revenue generation in the country as a better alternative to the IMF program rather than these obnoxious taxes. We do not believe the IMF seeks the destruction of businesses in the country. The government should not sacrifice the survival and development of the private sector for the sake of the IMF program. The efforts of the IMF to support our national economy will amount to nothing if it ends up destroying local businesses. The government can enhance domestic revenue mobilization by adopting innovative and practicable measures. We of the business community are very much in the know that the taxes we pay to the government are sufficient enough. But what the government fails to do is to adopt an effective and pragmatic system to ensure compliance with tax payment, as well as rope in all other businesses, entities that have not been captured into the tax net. In fact, there are many leakages in the tax system which lead to abuses and need to be sealed to forestall tax evasion and other related abuses. For example, the abuses of the warehousing and free zone policies should be thoroughly examined and strictly checked. The tax exemption policy should be totally abolished. This will go a long way to save significant revenue for the national development.
Fortunately, the president of the Ghana Union of Traders, Dr. Joseph Obeng, is joining us via Zoom. Thank you, sir, for your time here on The Pulse. I'll start off with the claims you've been making as the business community. You claim that the IMF conditionalities are beginning to adversely affect businesses locally. But the government explains that it is crucial to our economic restoration. How do we juxtapose these 2 points?
Hello.
Hi, Doc. Welcome.
Yes.
So
I'm sorry, my phone is acting up.
I was just asking the question that, of course, you claim that the IMF conditionalities appear to be affecting businesses, and that these new revenue measures may lead to a potential collapse of your companies. But government says that the IMF program is crucial to our economic recovery. How do we juxtapose the 2 points?
Yeah, we agree with government that is indeed very important that we adopt the IMF program. There's no doubt about that, and we are not arguing around that. What we are saying is that, please, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, yes.
We could have adopted a different measure apart from these measures that government took to enhance on government revenue. Seriously, this one is going to collapse businesses. And that's what we are talking about. And we are saying that we could have sat down with government and prefer a better, even better solution. And we all brought consensus around it, and we own the product together. But as it were now, the taxes act is being handed over to the business community. Is going to kill us. It's as simple as that. So we are in the same page with government. We know that we are in crisis and that we need solutions. But we also think that we cannot go to IMF and then we see to the destruction of our local industries, farming, agro-based industries, trading, and all that. And that's why all the business community have come together to protest and say that no, enough is enough. And we all recognize the fact that we are overburdened with taxes. Government itself recognizes this. That's why in 2017, government removed what they called nuisance taxes. Now these nuisance taxes have come in different forms. And it's even more than it used to be. What does it tell you?
Yeah,
we can't go ahead like that.
Right, but Doc, permit me. You're simply doing business. Of course, you're in the business community. You make profits or you either make losses. This is the case that the taxes, as you're claiming, may affect your production or perhaps the profit margin. Why not add on simply and make your profits and quote unquote go away?
It's not that simple.
Prof, Doc, we appear to be, yes. If you can just take that point for us again.
Consumer is already overburdened. Yeah. Hello.
Yes, I'm with you, Doc.
The consuming public is already overburdened. Their purchasing power has been curtailed because of the inflation. And so sometimes it's difficult to even pad up to the consumer. What it means is that the consumer is unable to buy if you keep piling these prices. The inflation that you're experiencing now is as a result of cost accumulation. We are piling up cost onto the final product. And because of the taxes that we are talking about. And so it's not as a result of excess liquidity in the system. So how far and how long can the consuming public absorb this cost? They cannot. And so when you do that, you are unable to turn over your business. And when your turnover is curtailed, it means that you are unable to service your loans and then service your supplier's credit, and that your business is collapsed. So it's not that simple that we pass it on. In any case, is the government not sympathetic with the consuming public as well? That we should continue to compound their problem. That will not be fair. And that's why we're saying that we could have preferred a different alternative. And IMF itself does not seek that businesses collapse. And so we could have bargained better for this rather than these measures that we call obnoxious. The obnoxious that we are going to pay multiplicity of taxes. That whatever communications industry is going to charge 5% on their gross. Whatever the insurance companies are going to pay on their gross. Whatever the banking industry is going to pay on their gross, the shipping line is going to pay on their gross, is going to be transferred to us. It's not going to be absorbed by these companies. And we ourselves, we also have 2.5% on our gross to pay. How far can we go? This is too much. This is obnoxious. That we have to do something about it. That's why we are calling on the government. We did not have stakeholder engagement on this. And that the norm had been that when there's a new tax, we all evaluate and dissect and we build consensus, and then we all eat together, and then we give the backing to government. But this particular one was not done. And it is not fair to the generality of Ghanaians. And we are even disappointed that Parliament, with all the petitions that we sent to Parliament, the Speaker and all that, they did not consider and pass it on. They do not represent their own interest. They represent the people of Ghana. We are not, the democracy that we are practicing here is not democracy of imposition, that we impose things on people, and that we dialogue, we build consensus, and we listen to the masses of the people. And that's why we are feeling disappointed. There isn't an iota of respect for the business community who have protested, and they couldn't simply hold on and talk to us so that we also prefer our alternative solutions. And this is what we are seeking now from the president. We know he's a listening president. We have had the opportunity so many times to talk to the president, and we believe that he is going to open the doors once again for us, so that when we are able to discuss and build consensus, we all, whatever program that we put to bear together, whatever taxes that we all agree together. Already the taxes that we are paying is not bad at all. We've been getting our revenue targets all this year. Because of what? Because we are able to meet our taxes with the business community. And the preceding years also saw that. Now we are uncompetitive in the sub-region, as you may know. Now the thermal port is empty. Why is it empty? Because cost of doing business is very high. And we are not in competition with ourselves. Thermal port is not competition with itself. Thermal port is in competition with the rest of the other ports. In the left is Cote d'Ivoire, on the right is Togo. And they are in competition with that. And we are losing attractiveness to these corridors. And it's not interesting. And we should know the signs are so clear. So why should we go on and pile on this cost?
All right.
on doing business
Mm.
to stop the progress or otherwise of businesses
All right, then.
or collapse of business.
Dr.
It's very
Dr. Obing, just hold on for us because Mark Boachi, who's the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, is also joining the conversation. And you were at the press conference also today. You've heard from Dr. Joseph Obing indicate what the position of Guta is, and jointly you all associate with this. But what's the way forward, and what demands are you making from government?
Well, I don't think it's the position of Guta. It's the position of all relevant business associations in Ghana. So the statement was not made by Guta, but all of us, we put it together because we realized that these new taxes affect every sector and every business in Ghana. So we came together and we know that with a very strong voice, the government will listen to us. From here, what we are going to do is to send a petition to the president. The president knows the importance of business and the importance of private sector to the development of Ghana. In other jurisdictions, you cannot introduce a tax without consulting the business community. You cannot, because you won't pay. So we have made it clear through this press statement that we are not happy with the passage of the bill, and as such, is going to affect us. Now that it's been passed, we know the next step is for the president to assent, and then it becomes a law for us, all of us to obey. So we are knocking at the doors of the president. We are sending a petition to him that these taxes will not be in the interest of businesses and will not be in the interest of Ghana. So they should listen to us. We have better options, better suggestions, better recommendations that we may not even need this 4 billion that they are seeking to get from these taxes. We can get it from other sources within the economy that will not overburden businesses, and we are ready to engage government. We are ready to offer our suggestions to ensure that the government gets the revenue and we will not introduce taxes that will kill businesses. We don't have to kill businesses to get 4 billion, because in the end, if you want to bring the businesses back, you need more than the 4 billion cedis that you are seeking to get from these obnoxious and counterproductive taxes that are being introduced by the Ministry of Finance and the government of Ghana. It won't help us. So we are going to push. We know that once the petition is given to the president, he has had the cause to call us for several discussions on some of these issues. In 2022, when the economy was on its knees, it actually required the businesses of this country to bring it back. The president called us, all business associations. He asked us what is the way forward. We offer suggestions, and now we begin to see some improvement. Now that we need money from IMF, the IMF shouldn't come, and I don't think, as he said, IMF would be happy that $3 billion dollars from IMF will come and collapse the businesses in Ghana. Who's going to pay the tax? Who is going to employ the people? Those that are coming out for investors, who's going to employ them? It's a business. The money that IMF is giving to you, it is to support your balance of payment. It's not supposed to help you build your productive sector. It is the private sector, the individuals that are going to get the money to invest in the businesses. From what is going on, even attracting investment into Ghana is going to be difficult. Anybody who would want to invest will look at your tax structure, you look at the cost of doing business, you look at the capacity and the capability of your people to contribute whatever is going to do. If your tax structure is like this, where you are taxing everything that goes to the businesses, you are taxing me 5% of my gross profit, and after that you go and tax corporate tax, bring a VAT of almost 22%. What are we doing to ourselves?
Okay, but
are we really interested and
let's be
serious
practical.
in
Yeah, but
industrializing?
let's be practical here. What's the alternative? It's not just about saying, well, the revenue measures are not helpful. Government is also looking at how to raise more revenue. So if it's not from the business community, where should we be getting that money from?
One, the alternative here is not about introducing new taxes or increasing the rate of existing taxes. The alternative here is compliance and tax efficiency. If you increase compliance, look, over 13 million people in Ghana are supposed to be paying tax. Less than 5 million of us are paying. So assuming that all the 13 million are paying, we have broadened the tax net. And every business, every individual will be paying a minimum amount, and the effect will not be on the few people who are there and they are not getting the money. So we are saying that there is also tax exemption, huge tax exemption. Who are those getting the tax exemptions? Are there not those who are politically exposed that are getting tax exemptions? Have you seen the typical SME getting tax exemptions? Let's block those loopholes, the warehouse system, all these things are there, the leakages. And no, the IMF said that you have two ways: enhance your revenue and also check on your expenditure. There is over concentration on enhancing the revenue and piling all these taxes on the businesses. Has government checked its expenditure? We've said this over and over again. The corruption, the leakages, we have said it over and over again. Block them. And once you control your expenditure, you don't need all this huge, because you want to ensure that your debt is sustainable. You need either revenue or you have to reduce your expenditure.
Right.
That you are saying that you cut your clothes according to the size of your pot. You are not tightening your belt, and you want the business to tighten their belt to the extent that they die. Cut your expenditure, come to us and say that I have done A, B, C, D. If you ask that no V8 is going out of Accra, who is monitoring that? Who is monitoring that? To what extent has that translated into a reduction in expenditure? That you want to get a lot of revenue from businesses to kill them. It won't help. The two ways, let's look at them. Tax compliance is key. In fact, all research have shown that if you want people to comply with your tax, you don't increase the tax rate or you don't introduce new taxes. Businesses will always find a way out, and the revenue that you are seeking to get, you won't get. If you want the revenue, make it simple, make it affordable for people to pay that. How come in US, a business will walk into their revenue center and say, I'm coming to file my tax? Here, if you go and introduce yourself, the pressure that they will build on you, you are likely to collapse your business. Make it simple. And I believe that businesses are not against the payment of taxes. And I've said this several times. We know that government need money. We know that government will have to build roads and schools and other things. But taxes that will kill businesses, people have invested in their businesses, millions of dollars, and you are going to use taxes to kill them. Those who have invested, they invested not because they just want to employ people. They invested not because they are Father Christmas. They invested because they always also want revenue and create value for their shareholders.
All right.
So don't kill their businesses.
I want us to make progress now. And of course, let's wrap up on this call. Dr. Obeng, I'll start off with you. The potential impact on your members and possibly the layoffs that we're about to see. Have you started quantifying that?
Yeah, it is very obvious. I don't have the scientific basis to quantify it. But once the lamentation at the stores keep on saying, Yantadia, they are not buying from us and all that, should tell you that if you keep on increasing the taxes, then this lamentation will even go on to the extent that we will say that that is when businesses have collapsed eventually. If now duties have gone up, the benchmark values have been taken out of the table. Now we have to contend with over 35% increment of duties. A VAT from 3% have gone to 22%, the flat rate, the standard rate. And these are all compounding the problem. The interest that we pay for our loans is 40%. Where are we going to get the money to pay our interest when we are also, again, being made to pay extortive taxes? And let's be fair. Let's be considerate. Let's put it on the scale and weigh it and see that what we are doing is fair. IMF itself doesn't want to kill businesses, and that we have to go back to the table and discuss proper alternatives. And this all that we are talking about, we are not fighting with anybody. We are just making sense that we have to open up again, build the necessary consensus, and prefer a better alternative. Otherwise, businesses are collapsed. More businesses died or have their capitals halved. The last quarter of 2022, all businesses' capital were depleted by 52%. If you want to know the statistics, and that accounts the reason why the thermal port is also half empty. Because if you are able to buy 20 containers, now you will only be able to buy about 5 containers. Businesses are dying. We don't need rocket science to tell everybody that the businesses are dying. Even the symptoms our signals at the thermal port alone should be an indicative point that businesses are actually dying, that we could not do the volumes that we are able to do, both trading and the manufacturing. Manufacturers are the worst of the manufacturers. They are very irrelevant in the scheme of affairs of the continental free trade area. That we have the edifice of a secretariat here, modern secretariat, but we are not having any benefit. We are irrelevant. We are lost out of the affairs of the continental free trade. So what are we doing?
Okay.
Yes, because their prices are high. Ask them after the implementation of the continental free trade area 3 years ago.
Right.
Ask Ghana the number of containers that we've shipped to the neighboring countries. Nothing. And other countries are selling. It's because the cost of doing business is high. The manufacturers cannot produce at a competitive prices.
All right. And for you, Mark Abuaji, as we wrap up on this conversation, what would be that final message to those in authority and probably to Parliament? They are on recess now. I'm just wondering what options are available now.
Well, as for Parliament, I know they have done their work. As I said, now the onus lies with the President to sign, and then it becomes law. That is what we are knocking at the doors of the President. My letter advice is that just as other countries are doing, just as they are using their monetary policies and fiscal policies to incentivize the productive sector because they know it's the engine of growth, Ghana should not deviate from that. We should not use fiscal policy in terms of taxes to kill businesses. We should not use monetary policy in terms of the policy rate to also increase the interest rate and kill businesses. How can you have an economy with a monetary policy rate of 29.5 and lending rate of 40 to 50%, and you expect that businesses will do well? Other countries are doing it. Let's use these policies to strengthen the private sector. That's exactly what we are saying. We are here to support government to achieve its overall goal of creating jobs, of creating revenue, and also helping the economy to grow. That is what the businesses are here to do. And we support government to achieve that. If the government also created the right enabling environment, businesses will take advantage of that and move the economy forward.
I'm grateful. Mark Abuaji, CEO of the Ghana National Chamber of Industries, joining us here, and also to Dr. Joseph Obeng of GUTA for joining us on this conversation. You're watching The Pulse.